What is up again, YouTube? Don here, Eastern CT Vaper. Welcome back for part 2 of the Kennedy 22 RDA review. Part 1 consisted of us building a set of Fused Clapton coils that will be installed on the Kennedy 22 in this video during the review. I also mentioned about a giveaway for 2 sets of coils. Be sure to check out video 1 and see how to enter for that giveaway. Okay, what we will be doing in part 2 now is reviewing this RDA, the Kennedy 22 RDA. Okay, we will open the box, see what comes with this. It even has a glass, I would call it almost a bell cap, I guess, or a chuff cap. You'll see what it is. Okay, we're going to install these Fused Claptons on it real quick. Okay, wick it, juice it, and we're going to come back up here for a vape and see how it vapes. Alright guys, so why don't we get down to the table, but before we can do that, you know what we need to do? Hit the credits. Here we are down at the table, guys, and you can see the Fused Claptons that we built in part 1. Okay, we can keep those to the side. This is the box for the Kennedy 22 RDA. You see this silver sticker? That is the color. It is a stainless steel version that I have. The flamed K for Kennedy. It looks like an eclipse setup. Okay, here's the rest of our box. Pretty basic. Okay, you get this top off of here. We have our little extra bag. It's got 3 extra screws. They are Phillips head, which is excellent for this, and these are nice beefy screws. Okay, going to be hard to strip these out. They're just excellent screws. Okay, we have some extra O-rings. Nice fat O-ring there. That goes for the drip tip. You'll see it's a reversed drip tip O-ring, if you will. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. It also comes with this little Phillips head screwdriver. You usually get a blue handle. This was a white one, okay? And I like that, so that's why it's not in there. I will be using that for this, okay? Put our little extras to the side here. And this is what we have, guys, okay? We'll start with the glass, chuff cap, bell cap, whatever you'd like to call it. Has a little bit of extras on the inside here. You can see there's some wires. You can see we have some wires here for building and a chunk of cotton for a build. I will never at any point use any of this though. You can see it flattened out here. And you can see some wire. Not for me though. Toss that to the side. We have our little glass cap. We'll just call it a cap. Okay, I'm going to assume this must be Pyrex. I haven't really seen it advertised. This is a bit of an extra. It doesn't really come marketed for the Kennedy. Nonetheless, pretty badass. It's cool. Okay, that to the side. Here is the man of the hour, Mr. Kennedy. Okay. This is a 22mm device. Here's our USA, our serial number, or my serial number, 6147. We have a copper 510 pin, barely protruding. I almost want to say it is not, I would not use this on a hybrid top cap model. Okay, Our 510 threads are nice. You can see some gunk in there. I have installed this and used this afternoon. So that could just be due to the mod that I used. Might have had some gunk in it or something. I did notice when I first took this out of the box, clean it, you could smell machine oil a mile away. So that could even be what it is. Minus the gunk in there, the threads are smooth. I've put it on a device. The Cherry Bomber mod that I reviewed, this would not work on that. And reason B, I think this is a short 510 pin. It just wasn't making a connection, I guess. I put it on there, it definitely seemed like it was sitting a little extra flush than most mods that I have. This is the only one that I've gotten that does not work on that Cherry Bomber, but it did not work. It did not make a connection, did not fire, but that's not what we're here for. We are here for this, the Kennedy, okay? It has a 510 drip tip, pops out like so. This is what I mean by the reversed O-ring. There is no O-ring on here. Alright, no O-ring. It is in here. If you can see that there. Is on the inside of the top cap. Let's see, right here. I know you guys can see that, so I'm just trying to get a better view of it as best as possible. You see it though. Our top cap starts at 10 millimeters for the bore and tapers down to 7 millimeters. Okay, 10 millimeters here, tapering down to 7 millimeters. This connecting spot for a drip tip or 510 drip tip hole is about 8.5 millimeters. Okay, drip tip sits in there. Like I said, O-ring is in the drip tip, fits nicely. Okay, here's our top cap, engraved with the word Kennedy, focused, very nice. Okay, it is only in that one spot though. It only has the one engraved of Kennedy. Okay, our bottom section, this is where our airflow is. If you can see in there, you see the 2 holes for the airflow. We will get more into that when we open the top cap. Okay, we got 4 airflow holes. You can see 2 and 2. There's 2 Cyclops style slots on each side, which adapt to 2 holes on each side. So there's 4 holes. Okay, if we remove this top cap, okay, this is the 4 air holes, okay? Let's get into this a little bit. These build holes, enormous. Plenty of room. I'm really not sure of the exact hole size, unfortunately. I apologize for that. Okay, we have our our Phillips head screws. Very nice touch. It's not a hex screw or anything like that. They're nice, rounded Phillips heads. Very nice. Okay, we have a copper positive pin and stainless steel construction of this, including the negative pins, all stainless steel. Okay, here's our airflow holes. Right under the coil is where this will go. Okay, our positive, negative, our coil fits in here. These sit directly underneath the coil. Okay, so airflow as you inhale comes through this hole, up through these, directly to the coil, keeping it nice and cool, creating the vapor to go up to your mouth and lungs. Okay, nice deep juice well. The positive with this is it has these chimney style air holes. Okay, so when you drip on your coils or even into the juice well, there's very minimal leaking. I haven't had any leaking issue. I actually was a little bit reckless adding juice earlier today, And instantly when I seen it, I says, oh crap, this is about to leak. My fault. Totally reckless. Dumped juice. Never leaked. Never ever leaked. So this is definitely a very well thought out setup. Very, very, very nice. Okay. Why don't we add that? Well, before we get too far, O-rings, double O-ringed here on the base section. See how those work here. It's more or less the bottom O-ring really does the work. That top one, it does have some resistance to it. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but when we get to that bottom one, that's where the magic happens. Locked. Does slide a little bit, but I am pulling. Could be tighter, but I've seen worse. Okay, definitely it clicks in. It makes a nice solid connection. It's closed off, so you're really not going to get any air leak. Would I trust it being on a mod and picking it up from the top cap? Depending on what mod you have this on. It very well, if it's a heavy mod, like I have the Cooper Plus, bit of a heavy mod, I don't know if I would trust that picking it up by this. Because, you know what, I bet you'd get away with it. I'd be nervous, though. Alright, why don't we add this to a mod and get these Fused Claptons installed. We have our Kennedy, or my Kennedy, installed on a mech mod. Okay, I will be taking the top cap off like so. Screws here, why don't we... I like to just open these wide open. Wide open. Enormous building holes. These holes are enormous. I would compare it to the Velocity RDA. Maybe even bigger. They are enormous. Definite pro in my book. Okay? Now, the way that I see this, you can see that this positive pin in the hole sits a little bit taller than our negatives. So, in my opinion, I will be putting the lead going over into the positive, the lead that goes under to the negative. As you can see here, have these built. The lead that goes over, we will put into the positive, the lead going under to the negative. Like so. Heck, why not? And crank right down on that. What we can do now, though, is take our 3mm bit we used to build this, give this a little push over. Get that a little more centered over our airflow holes. You can see now, I don't think we're going to get much better than that. You can see this positive is about as straight as we're going to get it. Although I think I would recommend, now that it's moved over, I do want to move this in a tidbit more. I did notice playing with clearance issues at that point, so I think it was wise to move that in some, because you can see this edge here, we are playing with clearance issues. So to move that in, scooch this a little bit. Yeah, we've got room now. Okay, what I always like to do at this point is we would take the cutters, trim that flush. Remember to properly dispose of our clipped wires. You do not want to have that in a carpet, wake up at 3 in the morning for a little bathroom visit and step on that. That is not going to be something that you're going to want to do at 3 in the morning half awake. Definitely want to make sure we get rid of those properly. Not bad. Okay. Now, you go ahead and do the same thing for your second coil. Okay, we have the second coil installed. Go ahead and clip off that negative lead again, like we did with the first one. Okay, I have already secured my positive pin. Okay, just to show you, we are nice and tight. Okay, so what we should do next here now. Oh man. Do your best to get in there without totally clipping everything off and trim these positive leads. Little bit of a bitch right now. And that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so our coils are in, but you see the airflow holes. Now we want to try and get these as centered and as over those airflow holes as possible. Even if it's just over one, like I just moved that one, it's directly over one of them. So I don't think it's going to get too much better than that. We can do that with this top one here. Scooch her on over. Excellent. We don't have any clearance issues. Oh no, we have plenty of room. Very nice. Okay, so what we can do next, give them a pulse. See how they glow. Oh, look at that. Suki, Suki, Suki. Okay, one thing, thanks to Grim Green, I've learned, strum across these. Double check here with another pulse. Not bad. Okay. Always make sure when metal heats, it can expand, so we want to make sure all of our leads are still nice and tight. Another double check here. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Not bad. I still think that this one on the right is heating up just a little bit quicker. And that looks like the money maker, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, beautiful. Glowing nice and evenly from the inside out. Took a little bit of fighting with her, but we got it. It is a bit of a fancy build, so unfortunately, I think if I just did like a regular macro coil or something, instead of something fancy, we would have been able to center it over both of those holes. Nonetheless, it's at least over, directly over one major hole. Okay, so that's going to send air straight to that wicking coil and cool them straight down. So why don't we, at this point I have full faith that we all know how to wick a coil. So let's wick this. Don't need to go through the details. And now that our wick is in, I figured I would show you how to cut this, because you can't pack all that in there because you need to keep those open. So what we want to do is trim these just a little bit extra, or a little bit wider than our deck. I'd say right about there with those. And right about there with those. Take our little poker. And we want to poke those down. We want to poke those down to the sides so they're just tucked in there, but leaving our airflow open. Okay, same with this side. We are wicked. Okay, what we can use today is this Churros by Milkman. Big favorite of mine. Give her a little shake. We need to now juice up our coils. Okay, so with this RDA, you kind of want to give it like a little painting method. Okay, you don't want to just glob it on there, because you don't want to drip into those airflow holes. So this took a lot of juice. That was a whole dropper. We have juice. And we have vapor. Vapor we have. Alright. Since we have successfully built here on this Kennedy 22, let's go back to FaceTime, throw a top cap on her, and see how she vapes. Welcome back to FaceTime, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take our Kennedy stainless steel top cap and pop her on. The glory with this top cap is there's no airflow on it. You just pop it on. That's it. No fucking fiddling, nothing. Have a vape. Fantastic vape. I had heard such good about this RDA, and I could not wait to get it, and I'm so glad it came. The airflow is fantastic. There's like nothing in the way. You just inhale and breathe in, and it's just like you'd almost think there's no build on it. There's nothing in the way. It's just straight airflow. Beautiful, fantastic, great clouds, great flavor. One more vape. Oh, it's great. I happened to paint this mod and it was a bad idea. I spray painted it, which it came out nice, don't get me wrong, but I use a regular, Duplicolor Walmart brand paint, not in a high heat, usage or a high heat application. So when this mod heats up after pulsing, say, it's sticky. The paint is just sticky. You can see it came off some here, and it's just chipping everywhere, and it's all goopy, and I feel like my hands are all sticky from it. But anyway, we're not here for that. What we are here for is some pros and cons for this RDA. Now let's get some pros out of the way. Pros, especially compared to the first version, these airflow holes. I specifically wanted this one, not the other one, because there was no bottom airflow ring thing here. I mean, it's not adjustable, don't get me wrong, but before it sat flush. Matter of fact, let's show a picture right now. You can see from that there was no hole like this. It just came underneath the mod in between your deck. Big issue with that is that any condensation or any juice that may or may not have leaked, it would get onto your mod. So big pro for this one is that they put a little ring here with the airflow holes, so now your mod does not get as saturated or wet. Other pros, that airflow is fantastic. It's such good airflow. There's like almost no coil in the way, and exactly that. You don't think that there's a build in it. It's just beautiful airflow straight through. Big pro. Other pro, this drip tip, I really like that there's no O-ring on it. The O-ring is in the top cap. Okay. Other pro is that this drip tip has a great board to it, and it's a 510. So if you personally do not like this, any 510 will fit. Okay, big pro there. Real quick before we go into the cons, let's try this glass drip. Well, this glass top cap looks nice. Let's show you with a little vape in there. Let's have a vape. So one more time, let you guys see this. The thing I love with the glass tops, you can see your build, you can see, especially what I love about it, and that goes into the pros again, you can use this glass top cap, and you're not guessing if you have a dry hit, because I've done that when I vaped a little bit, and it could be getting dry, and I didn't really realize it, let it sit cool, pick it back up, and get throat fucked, because I couldn't see that it was dry. Use this glass top, you can see your wicks, so you know if you're dry or not. Some cons to it now. The bottom O-rings I'm not too fond of. They're a little bit loose. They could have been a little tighter. Aside from that, I guess this is going to be a nitpick. It really wouldn't fall into a con, but the fact that you have to jam those coils over the airflow holes, there's really no other way to set it up. So I really don't want to say that that's a con. It's a nitpick. Because you wouldn't have been able to put those chimneys any other place. You see how much I had to fight to try to push them to the center? Again, you wouldn't have put those things any other place. So you really got to work with it for what it is. And it's a great setup. It's worth fighting the coil to the center because the result is phenomenal. It really is. To go into cons, I really can't think of any. Anything that comes to mind, it's fantastic. I vaped off this thing all day today. And it is just fantastic. Okay? Let's hit the scenario now. If me and my wife had this monstrous fight tonight, And just to get back at me, she took a baseball bat and smashed all of my vape shit and threw it out the window and ran it over with the car, and I'm fucked for everything. Tomorrow I gotta start over. Would I go for the Kennedy 22? Absolutely. Yes, I would. It has been a great vape. It's got great airflow. The clouds are great. The flavor is great. Everything's great. Like I said, I cannot really think of any con to this RDA. I was really excited to get it. I got it, and it definitely held its name. All the hype about it is true. It's fantastic, okay? So before I ramble on too much, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching part 1 and part 2. Remember about the giveaway in part 1. Be sure to check that video out. I will put a link in the description, okay? Please also be sure to check out CASAD.org. Check out all the calls to action. See what you can do to help vaping in your area, state, community, etc. Okay? Also check out notblowingsmoke.org. Another great one. All the news for the vaping community. Find out what's going on, whether it's in your area, your country, your state, whatever. Find out what's going on with vaping. There's a lot going on whether you know it or not. Okay? There's taxes they're trying to put on into vaping. They're trying to put us in with smokers, and that's just absurd because that's the thing everybody brags about. They're not a smoker anymore. It's vaping. It's not cigarettes. It's not smoke. It's vapor. Okay? So we need to make sure that we do our part to make sure that this doesn't happen and that vaping is safe, okay? Be sure to check it out. Again, CASAD.org, notblowingsmoke.org. A link will be in the description. Okay, guys? Also, you can find me on social media. Facebook.com/Eastern CT Vaper, Instagram.com/Eastern CT Vaper, and also Twitter.com/Eastern CT Vaper. Whew. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, guys? Again, I appreciate you tuning in with me. Be sure to click the subscribe button. Also, like or dislike. Let me know what you think. Be sure to comment. Thank you guys for tuning in. I much appreciate it. For Eastern CT Vaper, this is the Kennedy 22, and this is Don. And remember, guys, to vape on.